Alright, let's waste no time. I got several more videos to make here. And to kiss your monster. And I'm waiting on for some disputes here. There's a copyright. In fact, I should check those out real quick. Over on my main channel, CraftyArts. Yeah, still got a fucking warning on here. Ridiculous. Alright, what we got? Holy shit. My disputes were received. So the only one I have left to deal with here is this stupid fucking Science Confirms the Bible from the Creation Institute. Well,
Fact 1. There is no known observable process by which new genetic information can be added to an organism's genetic. Fact 1. There is no
minute. They claim it. Well, I'm curious. How's the other one I did? Did they finally get to it, or what? I have a feeling they're just going to ignore it for the 30 days. Yeah, expires in 11 days. If they would have came back and said it was valid, I would just, I would have to go in and make like a copyright-free version, safe version of my video. Hey, babe, want to go to the beach and sunbathe for a bit? It's only 120 degrees today. If you apply sugar strength and sun protection, then we can take a dip in the fatal flesh-eating bacteria water. It should be fine. What's that episode from Star Trek? Where that very thing kind of happens.
Howdy.
Yeah, that's right. We're on Xenover. Alright. So, Xenogre. How to kiss your Xenogre. Written and drawn by Italian. Should make this easy and just cut these into 3 parts. So we're gonna do it this way anyways. Did that one, you do this, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I'm glad YouTube's just pretty lenient on cartoon shit. Alright. Title here. Way to snap things. This guy has a patron. Bet you anybody's doing better than me. 74 members, $311 a month. That's cute. Oh, that must be nice. Extra $300 a month. I can get. I can't. Let's see how many I have. He's got what? High quality files, personal projects, missions, monthly polls, 1 vote, early access to animations. Oh, it's just, you know, it's just very apparent that I suck. So that's all it is. Anyways, where are we on this? Snap. There we go. Snap to... image bounds. There we go. What part of like snap to image bounds did this thing not understand? There we go. Okay. Selection. No, this one's a short one. Oh, god damn. The fuck. Anything cute on the YouTubes while I get this together here? Alright. PNG. Sangeli, I don't know how to spell it.
Pretty obvious to me that the objective of both these parties is to preserve the status quo. And why wouldn't they want to preserve it? Because it's a status quo where they're in power. So, you know, if you were them, you'd probably be trying to preserve it too. It's great for you, not so great for everybody else. And since, both these parties basically represent moneyed interests, corporate power, military power, they really can't center debate issues pertaining to any of those things. They're not ever going to talk about like the massive problems of income inequality in this country other than in the most superficial possible means, because they can't center that, because if they center that, then they're going to be expected to draw a sharp contrast between themselves on those issues. And they just can't, because no sharp contrast actually exists. So it's just, we're going to virtue signal, you're going to virtue signal, and then we're not going to do anything different. It's pretty obvious to me that the objective of both these parties is to preserve the status quo. And why wouldn't they want to preserve?
Indeed. The new Kira the Wolf? Oh boy, I can't wait.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So what's up? My name is Labrat, and today, I never thought I'd say this, but we have a new version of Kira the Wolf, but this is the Aquaman remake. You guys really need to prepare yourselves for this video, because I genuinely don't know how to preface this, but it's like something out of a South Park episode, especially the one where Kanye becomes a gay fish. But today we're speaking about two fursuit influencers, one named Mr. Teriyaki and his partner named Rain, or Mr. Acid Rain. These individuals have been recently exposed for their zoophilic intent and kinks that they had in the bedroom. That is abhorrent. So this individual named Soul Smoothie released screenshots documenting a text altercation. These screenshots are from 2017, and they showed a bit of kink they had for putting aquatic creatures in their anus and having their boyfriend have anal sex with them while the fishes and other mammals are in there.
Oh, the poor fishies. Well, I mean, I eat fish, so whatever. Like, I just had like a bunch of shrimp recently. Is that it though?
I mean, what was it? Not all of our kinks are morally correct. There's just one kink I don't share with anyone because it's upsetting. No, he likes the part there's a little being inside of me, part of a vor thing. Seeing them and feeling them wiggle, but also he'll just fuck me while they're still in me, which feels amazing, heh. But the thing is, they don't usually survive that part, unfortunately. I pushed them out into a fishbowl, and if they survive, they get put back in the tank and we'll use them later. It sounds kind of harsh to the fish, but it's kind of amazing. Yeah, no shit, it's hard. Don't pardon the pun. No shit, it's fucking harsh on the fish. Like, what do you think? Oh my god. Right, so that does.
Whatever. I don't like this moralizing shit. That's not nowhere near Kiro. Disappoint. Can AI replace Hollywood writers? How about Hollywood CEOs? Hug bees. Oh shit, hug bees.
I'm a fully grown man watching cartoons on the internet for my very lucrative and successful career, meaning my life has peaked. And since I'm currently living in the high-flying prime time of my lifetime, I will never know the fears of facing irrelevancy or having to reinvent myself to recapture the general public's favor after the ever-accelerating digital age creeps my entertainment value out of public consciousness and into submission. My ever-evolving stage presence and timeless material will guarantee my success for my entire life. But what if it didn't? What if I was still the beloved titan of industry that I am now, but the industry was changing at such a rapid pace that just being really good wasn't good enough? What if I had to do something radical, something extreme, something edgy? What if I had to do what Warner Brothers did to the Looney Tunes back in 2005?
They just did something horrible.
What if I had to fuck everything up? Now, this whole video is going to focus on the Looney Tunes property as a whole and a specific spin-off from their time, but for context, we're just going to talk right now about Bugs Bunny, and you'll see why later. Or you won't. I don't really care. It's not my job to force you to pay attention. It's just my job to make sure that you're just interested enough to keep the video running. Bugs Bunny is a time-honored warrior of sarcastic comedy. Who in the hell doesn't know Bugs Bunny? No one. So I'm going to skip the cliche YouTuber history lesson that takes up 80% of the video to pad runtime, and we're going to get to the good bit. Bugs Bunny started out goofing around in cartoon shorts, short cartoon films. We're in 2023 and the term shorts has taken on a far more disgusting and sinister meaning. Bugs Bunny started out goofing around in short cartoon films in the 1930s and maintained the same format from pretty much then until now. Bugs sits around doing nothing with his worthless life, some adversary shows up to fuck with him, and Bugs turns the tables by fucking with them so hard that they end up either dead or insane. It's funny stuff. And all of that works super well, swell, peachy, super duper keen, until it didn't.
Hello, and welcome back to my bathroom. I'm recording this in the future. You can tell it's the future because I'm wearing what everyone will wear in the future. I'm here to show you the bathroom of the future. As you can witness, everything on my counter is courtesy of Manscaped, who's the sponsor. Next stubble that I've let grow on my disgusting lawn. That incredible trimmer that I just showed off and forgot to plug in properly.
Dick was beginning to run dry with the
There we go.
Promo code HUGBEES, free shipping, 2 free gifts.
You see, Bugs' shtick was beginning to run dry with the more modern and sophisticated cartoon watchers of the 2000s. I am, of course, talking about children, and I'm also not at all joking. During this literal millennial time period, the cartoon block run by Warner Brothers, Kids WB, was hitting a very sharp downturn. A big contributing factor very well was probably the increasingly impressive competition's lineup. And this competition didn't even come purely from the outside. Cartoon Network by this point was also a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, but their rip-roaring entrees, I meant to say entries but we're keeping that in, into the modern era of animation definitely hampered any blossoming interest the youth market would have in the Looney Tunes. Let's take a look at a lineup of popular Cartoon Network cartoons from the early 2000s, largely considered the absolute peak of that channel's history. Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed, Ed, and Eddie, which, by the way, is the greatest cartoon of all time, no discussion there. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Megas XLR, which...
Should have gave it a chance, but didn't like it at the time.
I know I say every fucking video I have to make another video on something, but I just want any excuse to watch that show again because gone far too quick before its time. Oh, how I miss it. Anyway, Powerpuff Girls, and perhaps most importantly for this discussion, Samurai Jack, Teen Titans, and the influx of popular animes to the West such as Dragon Ball Z. Now, those last three are extremely important, but really take the whole list in. Did you notice a pattern? We are now reaping the rewards of the golden age of television animation. The 90s cartoon renaissance has bled into the experimentation of the early 2000s. Shows are getting more complex, more character-driven in their writing, more nuanced in their themes, and most importantly, darker. Oh sure, Ed, Edd n Eddy and Johnny Bravo regularly featured slapstick that was directly inspired by Looney Tunes, but they also drove into struggles and relatable problems that kids could identify with, such as trying to scam all your friends and trying to sleep with hot chicks. Okay, obviously that's a joke, but both shows were actually really well-written fish out of water stories about maturity and growing up. Courage the Cowardly Dog and Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy weren't afraid to be genuinely scary and unnerving in terms of their intended audience. Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Megas XLR, Samurai Jack, Teen Titans, Dragon Ball Z, all those other animes, which I want to remind everyone that Dragon Ball Z especially used to air on Cartoon Network during regular daytime programming hours for many years, were really fucking violent. Super unapologetically violent. Put the fucking clip on the screen where Jack cuts a beetle robot in half and it's the oil is a stand-in for blood, but it's really obvious it's supposed to be blood, and he's fucking bathing in the stuff, and that was like episode 2. Now later on, Samurai Jack did actually kill actual humans, but that was on Adult Swim and explicitly made for the audience that grew up with it. This was for kids. This is nuts. Looney Tunes never did any of that stuff. Yeah, Looney Tunes cartoons feature relatable issues, but they were ones that typically appealed to adults and the nuances of the nuclear family dynamic, not discussions aimed for school children specifically. Yeah, Looney Tunes totally could be scary and unnerving, but it was typically done for a gag or two and then moved on from. And yes, duh, Looney Tunes is violence. Yes, but never beyond comedic effect. People in Looney Tunes don't ever actually get hurt unless it's there to make you laugh. Now fucking Tom and Jerry, on the other hand, dip their toes into the water of dark shit. Ooh-wee, but that's another story. Well, I think I made my point. I'll go ahead and mosey on over to the entire reason I made the— oh wait, it's Nickelodeon and SpongeBob SquarePants. A whole balloon I didn't even talk about. And then of course there was also the Disney Channel, which, you know, I gotta be honest, Kids WB was pretty fucked by this point. Yeah, they had original programming and all the backlog of WB stuff they could ever rely on, but Looney Tunes ain't cutting it no more. Now, Warner Brothers did see this coming for a while and took measures to counteract it. Typically, since the 1960s, the Looney Tunes short films and other relevant side series like Merry Melodies and Everything in That House were mashed together into compilation shows that were shown as 30-minute episodes on, well, Kids WB and Cartoon Network and pretty much every network they could. Now, when you're just shoehorning in technically reruns of classic animation stylings alongside these new age modern cartoon affairs, it's gonna get old quick. So now it's time for everyone's favorite dumpster fire lit aboard a sinking ship. Spin-offs! First, Warner Brothers hits everyone with Tiny Toon Adventures back in 1990, which was good. You make a new cast of characters that don't skew too far from their original formulas. You make them punky teens with attitude, thanks Power Rangers, and you update the pop culture references to be ones that the parents watching with their kids will actually understand and laugh at, instead of ones that you'd have to have stormed the beaches of Normandy to get a chuckle at. Whammo! You've now got a good show that's a nice little passing of the torch. They even managed to work in a ton of cameos of the original, like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Porky Pig and all the old Looney Tunes. It's a perfect way to say, hey kids, look, this shit's cool and it's for you. It's also even produced by Steven Spielberg, which now means that we get a big giant budget and access to the entire Warner Brothers studio in-house full-piece orchestra, which leads to some of the best music work in television cartoon history, and I would say debatably some of the best music accompaniment in cartoons ever. You know what? Fuck it. Watch this. Watch this scene right now. Do it. Pay attention. If you know absolutely anything about art, animation, directing, or composition, you know that that shot was really, really fucking impressive. And also, maybe even retroactively more importantly, this series eventually led to Steven Spielberg making even more cartoons with Warner Brothers, which culminated in Freakazoid, which, well, fancy fucking that, I just might have an attachment or two to that show.
This episode is also dedicated to Mrs. Ashley Hugbees of Fuller's Earth, Arizona, because we like saying the word Hugbees. Go ahead, try it. Hugbees. Hugbees! Hugbees! Hugbees!
I don't know. Great start, Warner Brothers. What's next? Oh yeah, Tasmania. Okay, so I don't really remember this show, Tasmania. I even Googled a bunch of threads on it, and it seems like it always falls into the camp of, oh, yeah, oh, I've seen that, yeah. Oh, I remember that one, yeah. But no one remembers anything about it, just that it was a thing. Reviews of it that I dug up from back when it actually was, like, airing seem positive. People remember it and go, oh, cool. The end. It's fine. Okay, after that, we have a host of really lazy spin-offs that are actually just rebranded clip shows. Then we got Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, which I guess if you can't get enough Scooby-Doo, then this is the motherfucking show for you. Baby Looney Tunes, which doesn't really count because it's explicitly made for preschoolers and a younger audience, and it would air in time slots when all the grown-up kids were at school, so that doesn't matter. And then Duck Dodgers. Yes! Yes! Warner Brothers, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. You took Looney Tunes, you found the perfect format and universe to expand on, and you turned it into a slightly more mature, more world-built, more complex show that blended action set pieces with the old classic Looney Tunes comedy. Duck Dodgers is a masterclass in how to make a spin-off, and also has one of the most bizarre crossovers in cartoon history that's on my video list. I swear to fucking God it is. Even with all that, it still wasn't good enough. How quickly we forget that in 2003, Looney Tunes tried to capitalize on this newfound momentum with the old "it's working plan, and made Looney Tunes Back in Action, a movie so flim-flammy it killed both the Looney Tunes' new potential hype and Brendan Fraser's career. Again. But he's back.
But there's no marketing for it. I haven't seen it, but it was pretty well received from what I remember. Compared to the other one.
That intrudes upon its territory. But should he find your musk agreeable, you may become prey for a different sort of hunt.
There we go, this will help.
You may become prey for a different sort of...
Yeah, right there. This should be like faded out. There we go. 40, 35%. Yeah. And I like the idea of the picture itself fading into existence here.
A hunt that ends with you learning just how much sort of hunt. For a different sort of hunt. A hunt that ends with you learning just how much Xenogre tongue sort of hunt. Different sort of hunt. A hunt that ends with you learning just how much Xenogre tongue can fit down your throat. Dep-
Do 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 do.
Now, so everything's fine. Look, by this point we've reached 2005 and none of this is good enough. They had the newfound swing of Space Jam, but then it was just like flop after flop and all the good stuff just kind of became its own thing and didn't really carry the brand any further. The Looney Tunes are losing their dominating grip on the market that says, Disney's too babyish for me, give me something that goes harder. So they went even harder. What I'm about to play for you now is the initial pitch concept for what this entire video has been leading up to. If you don't know what I'm about to talk about, I just want to remind you, this
Can't watch all of this because I'm streaming here, but damn. Alright. I'm gonna save it for later. Save it for when I'm at the job, though. Did they? Fresh and Fit got banned off of YouTube? That won't last long. They make too much money. I want bad video games. Give me some bad video games. Not fucking we got here? Second Opinion Games? Okay, let's try that one. Game Sack, worst sounding games. Who's Andy Milonakis? I mean, I know who he is, but what do you mean he got away with it? Tom Dark 6 days ago.
I'm going to start this video off with a bit of a hot take, a bit of a saucy opinion, which is that NFTs are not that bad. I admit that there's a lot of bad people in the NFT community, a lot of scammers, a lot of bad projects, a lot of straight
They're fucking useless.
up trash. But I don't think that discounts the technology itself. I think it's really cool. I think it's a nice way for artists.
We already have shit like this. Everything that NFTs claim to do, we already have it. Exclusivity on documents and shit like that. That's why we have codes and receipts and all that other stuff. Wrong.
To get paid, and I think that a lot of people's quote-unquote concerns over NFTs and like them being worthless are ultimately trumped by the fact that everybody buys worthless things like Funko Pops, and almost nobody seems to have an issue with that. But as soon as it's like a digital asset, all of a sudden everybody's up in arms. But regardless of that, there's no denying there's a lot of bad people in the NFT space. One example would be Andy Milonakis, apparently.
It's my show, I'm Andy Milonakis.
Now, you guys probably know who Andy Milonakis is. He's an American comedian, actor, rapper, and internet personality, according to Google. But I mostly knew him for the Andy Milonakis show, which he had on MTV back like in the early 2000s. I want to say like 2003 to 2008, maybe he had it. And he had a few seasons. And since then, he's been doing other stuff in the entertainment space. I also know him because he went on Steve-O's podcast, and he also was a member of the Baited podcast with Keemstar for a little while, which is pretty funny to think about. Debated podcast, of course, used to star Keemstar, Tommy C, and Colossal is Crazy. They had a few lineup changes a while back, and one of those lineup changes involved Andy Milonakis, who I believe was a part of like maybe 10 episodes or something like that. Like he was there for quite a bit of the time on the show. He appeared on quite a few episodes, and he's one of these, you know, traditional celebrities from legacy media who have since been pretty tech savvy and transitioned into legacy media. You know, given his appearance, you may think that he's like 20 years old or something. He kind of looks like an overweight Leafy is here, but he's actually 47 years old, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure if this is some kind of genetic condition. I'm not trying to make fun of the way he looks really, but I'm just saying, like, you look at this guy, you may think he's like 18. He's actually almost 50. I say that not as a way to mock him, but more as a way to say that he has culpability in the things that he does wrong. And the most recent thing he's apparently done wrong is from this account called Shaw on Twitter, which is an NFT Twitter account, building brands, memes, marketing, wannabe motivator at Rollbit.com partner. This guy posted a thread titled Andy Milonakis
whatever.
Is going to jail. The story behind the guy who stole 1.3 million in NFTs. And here we have a pretty saucy, this looks like a YouTube thumbnail here. Picture of Andy on the left with a picture of an NFT on the right, and it says 1.3 million.
The utter failure of the Sega Saturn is one of Sega's biggest mistakes. And while some people say it has some of the best games ever made, well,
every system has the best games ever made. Every system has at least one or two games that are like, oh man, this is fucking stellar. Every system has it. Is this guy still active? Second Opinion Games. Cool.
well, you kind of have to forget about all the stinkers. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games. And today we look at the top 10 worst Sega Saturn games.
Second Opinion Games.
Number 10, Iron Man XO in heavy metal. It's hard to go wrong with Iron Man, except trying to make him 3D before 3D was really a good thing to go off of. No, they probably would have been better with 2D sprites and keeping this on the Sega Genesis, because at least then they wouldn't have the really long load times, which of course this game has. Sure, it's just an average 2D action platformer. Actually, I'm going to say quite a bit below average, because it's just slow. It's like a run and gun that moves at a snail's pace, and the graphics aren't really anything special here either. Neither is the sound effects or anything about this game. It's remarkably simple, and you can actually play it if you really wanted to. Its biggest downfall is the fact that it completely ruined the Iron Man name for many years to come in video games at least. And I can just say I'm more disappointed in this game than anything else. It's not really super bad, but I really don't want to keep playing. Number 9, Battle Monsters. Now there's bad, and then there's hilariously bad. I think Battle Monsters is more of a funny kind of bad. You have 2D digitized sprites in an epic environment. The camera scrolls in and out so often, I actually get quite a bit motion sick, and the controls are kind of unusual. You could use your shoulder buttons to do a jump, but not just a normal jump. You could jump onto other parts of the background and other things like that. Otherwise, you just press up to jump at an angle for a simple jump kick. Doing special moves is relatively easy. You can pull them off about 85% of the time. Not really as precise as you want for a fighting game against your friend, because if you try to do a move, you expect to be able to pull it off every single time. The characters that you could choose, I actually kind of love. I really like this headless guy because he's just hilarious, huge, and moves quite agile as you play through the game. And I gotta say, I'm getting nauseous playing. That camera moving back and forth so often is literally making me sick. I wish I could find another person to play this game with, because I actually feel like I'm quite good at it, but most people really hate this one. Probably because you need a barf bag after about 10 minutes with it. Number 8, Dragon Force. Wait. Dragon Force, the Working Designs classic, is actually one of the worst games on the system? Well, hear me out on this one, because this is normally in everyone's top 10, but for me, I just could not play it at all. First of all, I bought it at a ridiculously high price. I actually sold it at a much higher price, so I should be praising this game. However, after hearing everyone super hype it up, when I tried to jump into it, first of all, it's wordy as all heck, and then I get to the menus, and I couldn't make heads or tails of them. Even after reading the instruction manual, I could not figure out how to get the game really even started, and then I started to wonder if I even wanted to play this at all, which it turns out I didn't. So I'm happy to watch other people's sports. Oh my god, this could be one of the ugliest games I've ever played, and the
it's so
frame rate is absolutely atrocious, sometimes diving down into the single digits. And if you think it controls well, guess what? It really doesn't. The music that's way in the background is just some sort of generic rock and roll.
Make me motion sick just looking at it. Don't worry. Be horny.
Don't worry, he'll eventually relent, some 30 minutes later. Until then, all you can do is brace. Brace, and let...
I like how I'm able to streamline these a little bit better now. Alright.
And the sound effects are your truck just trying to make it up and down hills. Now, it can be quite easy because the path to stay on.
I don't know, I kind of miss someone being more theatric with these reviews. I know there's a lot of imitators of like Angry Nerd and shit, but come on. I can appreciate having more of a script and making a thing around it, rather than just this casual commentary. Kind of missing that.
Is
let's compare that to this. Yeah, I'm surprised that this is the actual music from the game.
Alright, this is Silver Surfer. Silver shit. He looks so stupid. I mean, what the hell's wrong with him? He's just like... Alright, so you get this stage select thing, kind of like in Mega Man, which is good for the sake of this review, so I don't really have to beat anything to show you all the stages in the game. So it's just like one of those fly and shoot games, kind of like Defender or Light Force, you know. Nothing too special, but not bad actually. Your weapon's kind of lame, but there's power-ups which let you shoot double. The fuck? I can't touch the walls? That's right, you can't touch anything in this game, so don't fuck around. Anyway, what was I saying about the weapons? Oh yeah, there's not much else I think you can get. I mean, you can shoot backwards, like if somebody's coming behind you, and that's always a real shit sucker, because you want to concentrate on what's ahead. It's kind of clumsy to switch back, because you press the B button to change direction, but use A to shoot. Ah, fuck! I guess that wasn't a good time to demonstrate. So there you go, shooting the rubber ducky, which doesn't die. Oh, fuck! If you play this game, one thing I can guarantee is that your thumb is going to get pretty damn sore from tapping that button. There's not one instant when you can take a break. You're constantly firing away, even when there's nothing in sight, because you don't know what's coming up. I mean, there's no reason not to be shooting, and this wouldn't bother me so fucking much if you could just hold down the button and let it keep shooting, but no, of course not. So what you need is a turbo button. Whether it's an NES Advantage or an NES Max, put that other fucking controller away, press that turbo button, and never let go. So I beat the stage, though each stage consists of 2 or more sections. Now we're in the second section, and we got an overhead view, which is equally as difficult as any of the rest. Actually, I think they're worse, because you don't know what's supposed to be underneath you or blocking you. I'm assuming I can't touch these wooden parts. Uh-oh, now I'm probably fucked. Oh, never mind. I guess I can go through those. See, the graphics are so unclear as to what you're allowed to touch and what you're not. You don't know what the hazards are. Look at that. That's not fair. I couldn't see that tiny bullet coming through the trees. It's like camouflaged. And the way those waves move, it's just like a bunch of flickering blue lines. It plays with your eyes and fucks you all up. What a cruel game. I give up. I'm trying another stage. Fire Lord. Alright, another overhead. Ah, fuck! I can't believe this. You can't touch the ground. That means that you have to stay in the brown area, which pretty much limits you to about 20% of the screen. This is ridiculous. Just staying within this narrow range. It's like playing the game Operation, but with a bunch of shit flying around trying to kill you. You have such a tight space to maneuver if you want to kill these things. Come on, come on. Ah! Let's try again. Come on, come on. Oh, fuck! If only his board wasn't so goddamn long. Or if you can go diagonally, like if you can go at an angle, but you're always pointing straight, which makes it impossible to squeeze through narrow spots like this. You know, it's so easy to die in this game, and every time you die, you have to see this. this sad, pathetic image of Silver Surfer just trembling in defeat. If you play this game, this image will be burned into your retina. And how appropriate, because this picture expresses better than words my feelings on this game. Just look at it. That sums up the whole thing. What did I say before? This game's not bad? Well, no, it isn't bad. It's fucking horrible, and I dare you to play it. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad, but this game just went way, way too far. The difficulty is legendary. This is the grand champion of hard motherfucking games. It doesn't fuck around. Why couldn't there be a health bar, like 3 hits? Would that be okay? No. 1 fucking hit and you're dead. Well, then couldn't you have extra lives? Which you do, but they don't matter because when you die, you start back from the beginning of the stage. There's some checkpoints along the way, yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that when you die, you go back. Compare that to Contra or Super C. You get hit once and you're dead.
Yeah, so much better. So much more effort. So much better. Spider-Man Lotus. I'm born of spite.
Well, Spider-Man Lotus.
Sure. Let me see what
This is finally out, and a lot of people in the comic book sphere have been talking about it. I'll admit, I don't know much about it, but it looks pretty high budget for a fan film. Plus, the director of the current Spider-Man movies and Andrew Garfield apparently also said it looks pretty cool. Let me go ahead and see what people are saying about this movie.
Spider-Man Lotus, racist allegations.
There's also the star of Spider-Man Lotus, Spider-Man, aka Warden Wayne.
To show his messages, he dropped like N-bombs. It wasn't just once, like it was a bunch of times.
This, that, Mexican N-word. N-word was mean as hell, always saying N-word.
The director was also making racist comments while making the film.
Gavin heard pedo and racist, and he was like, okay, that's fine. Letting a person of color become assistant director, hell no. Its director, Gavin Knopp, has covered up that acting coach and the film's Green Goblin, John Salandria, had been grooming an underage student.
Welcome back, everybody, to the worst superhero movies ever made, a series where I pick on children. Now, if you've never heard of Spider-Man Lotus before, God, I envy you. This movie's been a thorn.
I haven't heard of it.
In my side for the last few years. So many people coming into my Twitch chat and asking, hey, have you heard about Spider-Man Lotus? Are you going to talk about Spider-Man Lotus? And oh my god, the threads upon threads of controversy. All for a movie that was only born out of spite. So yeah, you guys are going to want to buckle in because this one's going to be a doozy. But before we get into the movie itself, we have to cover the background of this project because all the drama is what makes it a truly entertaining tale.
All right, let's do this one last time.
This young man's name is Gavin J. Knopp. Like most young brown-haired white boys, Gavin loves Spider-Man. He goes on to become a member of what I like to call Spider-Man Twitter, a group of young men bound together by 2 things: their love for Spider-Man.
I can't dedicate myself to one thing like that. That would drive me insane. It's like there's a whole channel dedicated to Undertale. You know, the one game. All the characters.
Orgasms. If you're lucky enough for the Xenogre to notice, he might lower his head and grant you the privilege.
Oops. Oh well. Yeah.
And their hatred for Spider-Man. I'm telling you, nobody argues about Spider-Man quite like Spider-Man.
I like how there's this common theme I've noticed where fans, no one hates the thing more than its actual fans. I've heard that with Star Wars, I've heard that with furries, and now I'm hearing that with Spider-Man, apparently. No one hates Spider-Man more than Spider-Man fans. Cute. We can just comment on that. How do you spell tie? Bean. You just dropped the E? Yes. Sure. Okay. What we got? Pancakes? Yay. Oh.
And Twitter. And a lot of folks in this, I'm telling you, together by two things: their love for Spider-Man and their hatred for Spider-Man. I'm telling you, nobody argues about Spider-Man quite like Spider-Man Twitter. And a lot of folks in this sphere have a particular grievance with the MCU's version of Peter Parker, with Spider-Man Far From Home being a major source of disdain for many of them. So many of these fans called out to the heavens. They prayed for a day when they could finally watch a Spider-Man movie that's 100% true to the comics. Basically, they just kind of want to watch Spider-Man 2 again. That seems to be the only movie they like. And that's when the clouds opened up and Gavin descended from the heavens saying, yeah, I'm gonna need about $20,000. Quickly after that, an Indiegogo campaign began, with Gavin promising a tried and true Spider-Man film. One that's supposed to be just like Spider-Man 2. However, this campaign widely exceeded expectations, passing $100,000 in donations. Soon, Gavin could reveal his dream project to the world: Spider-Man Lotus. Not gonna lie, it's actually a pretty cool name. However, the production of the film was rife with turmoil. In 2022, it was revealed that Warden Wayne, one of the writers of the film, as well as the actor playing Spider-Man, really liked to say the N-word.
The Ku Klux Klan!
Warden went ahead and put out an apology. He claims that he was racist because he was homeschooled. Yeah, okay, that checks out. And then the controversy was put to bed and the film could finally resume production. Never mind, Gavin also said some pretty fucked up shit, ranging from ableism to some very creative racism. And this was exposed by an anonymous Twitter user who was later revealed to be someone who knew Gavin 5 years earlier. Like, seriously, this part of the story is kind of crazy. Apparently, this random kid got kicked off of the Spider-Man fan film project and was so mad that for 5 years, he plotted his revenge. With a slew of real and doctored screenshots, this unknown entity had one goal.
Real and doctored. Because when the real ones are not enough, you gotta just make shit up too. Oh, well, he was 15 when he worked on this film and got kicked off the project. Oh yeah, that would explain the spite. I mean, teenager like that, privileged enough to have enough time on his hands to come up with a plot. It's kind of fucked up. It's one of those things he's gonna look back on like, oh man, that was cringy. Ruined that guy's life. Oh well. But sounds like he deserved it anyways. So, all in all, it's all right. I'll be right back. All right.
To destroy Gavin and his film once and for all. Shortly afterwards, Gavin made his own apology, but the damage was already done. Memes began to spread online.
Relax, Miles. It's just a word your people say it all the time.
Spider-Man Lotus was being referred to as Spider-Man racist.
I mean, yes, context does matter. But I'm glad I don't have a bunch of chats where I'm just spamming that word everywhere.
And the VFX team drops out of the movie due to both the controversy as well as the fact that production was just overall really shitty. Gavin is found insulting the actresses from the film. Disgruntled employees begin to leak scenes and images from the film online, culminating in them eventually leaking the entire script. And to top it all off, the actor for the Green Goblin was revealed to be a pedophile.
Oh. Oh, no.
And if that's not enough, he's also racist. But after years of controversy, Gavin dragged himself through blood and bones to release the film so that the $100,000 would not go to waste. And on August 11th, 2023, Spider-Man Lotus was revealed. So was it all worth it? Is the movie any good?
No!
Now, normally I wouldn't bother reviewing a fan film. For one, I'm not a fan of fan films. I usually don't like anything fans make. I hate fans. Unless they're fans of me, of course. I don't like fan films, fan fiction, fan-made games, video game mods, nothing. If a fan made it, there is a 99% chance that I will not consume that piece of media. I think years of listening to fans being wrong about everything all of the time has built a natural resentment for fan-created work. If you're out there and you make fan content, I think that's awesome. You should keep doing it, but I'm probably not going to watch it.
This is the only one I like.
It's just not my jam.
I mean, because there's no... I mean, Warhammer is just like a... I would say a Warhammer almost just like furry.
How to kiss your raven.
Shut up.
How to...
Shut up. I'd say it's more like an aesthetic. Warhammer's an aesthetic. It's like
and as such, for the last few years, I kind of ignored Spider-Man Lotus. I thought it sounded really stupid. However, I could not stop thinking about how much hubris and ego must be required to make this ambitious of a project. A film meant to rival the storytelling of a major Hollywood franchise. Because this isn't just a fan film. There are a number of screenshots and now deleted tweets where the creator of the film professed that he wants to make a film to rival all other fan films. And to
What? Do not. Alright.
Finally give Spider-Man the movie he deserves. A movie that will give us the true on-screen version of Peter Parker, unlike the MCU films, of course. And like, it comes across as very misguided, but I do have to remember that Gavin is a very young filmmaker. I don't really blame him for letting the attention get to his head.
He also seems a little malnourished. What's with those sunken cheekbones?
After all, for the last few years, he's been surrounded by people who, without question, said that his idea was amazing. I'm honestly more annoyed with the fans and the Indiegogo backers who funded this movie out of pure spite for the MCU. Spider-Man fans gave $100,000 to a guy who wasn't even old enough to drink at the time in order to make the Spider-Man movie they thought they wanted.
That's like how you got the last... That's how you got the last Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker, the way it was. Oh, we got a lot of fan backlash? Okay, we'll give them what they want. They want the Emperor, we'll put the Emperor... We'll shoehorn the Emperor in there. It's fucking ridiculous.
Despite what some people say about me.
It's the goal of an artist to give people what they didn't know they wanted. It's the goal of the artist to find where the line is and cross it.
I never like to act like I know better than people who do this stuff for a living. And most importantly, when I'm watching something truly heinous, I try to avoid saying I do better. Because I'm not a filmmaker, and I'm not a writer. If this movie was just a little passion project by a guy with good intentions, I would not be making this video. I would never want to roast something like that, even if it was bad. But it just so happens that this is an animated project born from spite. And that's just too spicy to pass up. And if you're going to make an entire feature-length film to spite the MCU and to spite superhero movie YouTubers for some reason, I think that's a little weird. And as far as I'm concerned, if you claim to have made the fan film to end all fan films, you better be able to back it up. So honestly, I don't really care about the fact that he said the N-word when he was a teenager. My ancestors don't really care if he's getting ratioed on Twitter for saying the gamer word before he had chin hair. What I do care about is the fact that he clearly bit off more than he could chew. And the result is a movie that nobody with this little experience should have tried to make. So now I'm going to try to give the most fair review that I can offer for Spider-Man Lotus. Now, there are a lot of things that I can't really fairly criticize with this film that I normally would bring up. Normally, I would complain when the acting is bad, but like, this is a fan film, you know? I'm not talking about Oscar award winners here. And honestly, most of the performances are really not that bad. I can say that overall, these kids are better than the cast of Riverdale, and I know that's not a very high bar, but it's at least something. Another thing that's better than I expected are the effects. For what it's worth, considering the fact that the VFX team bailed so early, I'm surprised the movie looks this good at all. I think overall, the effects are just fine. I have nothing to complain about, except for the fact that they do have some very creative character models.
That's a penis!
But then also, the lighting is really, really bad. And honestly, I can't even call it lighting, because it looks like the scene was shot normally, but then some doofus went in and slid the brightness down in post to make the movie darker and edgier. But like, if you've ever edited any kind of footage before, you can see that they just dimmed it digitally. And honestly, this is one of the worst parts of this movie. So much of your on-set lighting is being obscured by someone lowering the brightness. There's no reason to dim the scenes that are set in broad daylight.
Yeah, that looks weird.
Hey, another weird issue in this movie is that there's too many establishing shots, plus they're too long, and they never actually establish where we are in the movie. Yep, that's New York. Yeah, that's still New York. That's okay. I'll sit here. I'm sitting here the whole time. I did not modify this footage. It's really this long. The dialogue of the movie is also very lifeless, and every other character talks like they're being written by a 16-year-old. And honestly, judging by the timeline of this movie, they probably were. Like, for instance, listen to this newscaster.
Good morning, New York City. We're coming on the air with some rather unfortunate news.
He's talking like he's recording a fucking hostage video. This isn't even what news anchors are supposed to sound like. Everybody and their mom knows what it sounds like when someone's on the fucking news. And yes, I understand that this is very nitpicky, But when all of these small things get overlooked, it adds this layer of inexperience all over the production. And remember, the director did claim that this would be the greatest fan film ever made.
Sources say they saw Spider-Man fleeing the vicinity, leaving Osborn dead on the scene with blade wounds and several scars.
Yes, Spider-Man gave the corpse scars. Corpses can't form scars. To get more into this, let's move on to the opening scene of the movie. First, we get some pretty okay-looking swinging from Peter as he makes it to a battle with Shocker and his goons. And right from this first scene, we can see how this movie just doesn't have this sauce. You know what I mean? This is the only scene in the whole movie where we get to see Spider-Man in his prime. And,
What are you wearing? It's my Shocker suit! Your Shocker suit? That's what you're calling it? Yeah! Wow. Did you come up with that yourself?
Don't make jokes! You're bad at it!
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the charisma just isn't there. You might need some more homeschooling, buddy. The lack of charisma as well as the weak writing immediately shows us that this probably isn't going to be a movie where we like Spider-Man. But to give us just a hint of how shitty of a person he is, Spider-Man uses human shields in a battle to protect himself from Shocker's laser beams. I think we should all agree, I don't think Spider-Man would do that.
Wait, what?
Beams. Human shields in a battle to protect hint of how shitty of a person he is, Spider-Man uses human shields in a battle to protect himself from Shocker's laser beams. I think we should all agree, I don't think Spider-Man would do that. No. But hey, the suit looks homemade. That's all these people care about. That's the comic book accuracy we all crave. I'm also not given a reason to care about any of these characters yet. You'll find that all of the character writing is just scenes of everybody being really pissed off. Like, everybody's in a bad mood all of the time. And it makes sense in the later scenes after Gwen is dead. But in this scene, there's no excuse. This is supposed to be the best part of Peter's life. This is them when they have nothing to worry about. Peter Parker hardly even smiles in this scene. Later on in the movie, they look back on these days as the last time they were all happy together. Do these people look happy to you? Normally, again, I wouldn't complain about a fan film having weak character writing. But this movie is almost 2 hours long. If in that time, you can't...
Whoa, what the fuck? I thought... When I sit and hear a fan film, I'm thinking like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He pulled off a 2-hour film like this for 100 grand?
Make me care about a single character? Something is very, very wrong. So anyway, after that, we get an opening sequence showing us cool art of what happened to Gwen. Have you guys ever heard of Spider-Man 2 before? It's kind of underrated. I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. Now, normally I wouldn't mind this kind of presentation of information, but I should let you know that this information is in fact going to be re-explained to us over and over and over again in the coming hours. So after that, we see Peter Parker at Gwen's grave when MJ comes up to talk to him. But remember, this is not nice Spider-Man. This is mean Spider-Man.
You're worried about me?
Yes.
I'm trying to recall when I've ever seen you worry about anything.
Okay.
None of you get it. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Peter, don't get mad at me for trying to help.
You're not trying to help.
Yes,
I know better
am.
than most. You never cared about that. Never.
Harry is gone. Nobody wants to go out with me anymore.
What, so you came to bug me about it?
No.
You're a joke.
With
I knew you couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle what?
Not being the center of attention just for a second. The life of the party loses her spotlight and doesn't know what to do with herself.
That's not true.
It is true.
This does not feel like Peter Parker. This feels like Osborn after he takes the fucking Green Goblin serum. Or even after Harry Osborn took the Green Goblin serum.
This mighty brute raven is heavy in all the right ways.
You're so unaware of yourself, it's not even funny. You don't care about people like me and Gwen.
She didn't live life like it was a constant game. Maybe if you took a second to think, you could have learned a thing or two from her.
And yeah, even Peter Parker at his lowest shouldn't be this much of a spiteful, angry
Wow, man. Was it Norman or Harry? Man.
asshole. Like, this is kind of how symbiote Peter is supposed to act. But this is just a few weeks after Gwen died, so I will give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Because it's not like he's gonna be this way for the whole movie. He acts like this in the whole movie. So anyway, MJ gives Peter Parker a letter for Spider-Man. Apparently there's a little sick boy who's been diagnosed as terminally ill. And then of course, we have to go to a new scene. And that means it's time for a few establishing shots.
Yeah, I'm showing the whole thing. I'm allowed to do that now. I don't have to cut it down to 10 seconds. I can show the whole thing. I could stream the whole movie if I felt like it.
I mean, it is a fan film, so yeah, what are they gonna do?
Cut! So Peter goes to his apartment and he sees Harry passed out. And then, of course, they have to have an argument because this is dark and gritty Spider-Man. We can't have scenes that are fun.
You weren't the only person who lost something that day. But you can't admit that because you're too selfish to think about anyone else. Nothing is ever a problem until it affects you.
And after that scene, we get the bane of every amateur college filmmaker, a black and white dream sequence. But, however, to be nice for a second, I think this scene isn't really that bad. I like
flexible muscle inside your throat. Because its drool has a very slimy consistency, it can double as a natural lubricant that will make it feel even better when it slides into your throat. I promise you'll love the taste of it, too. Guaranteed.
that the black and white actually has a purpose in this scene and that the Spider-Man suit is the only thing in color. It's kind of a creative idea. I think that's kind of cool. However, I think this movie would be greatly improved if this was the scene that we saw right after the opening credits. Like, skip that scene with MJ. That was fucking stupid. And also, skip this scene with Harry. It is also horrible. Because this scene is more visually interesting, and it gives us all of the information we need anyway. Because I should point out that we are a whole quarter through the movie at this point, and the only thing we know is that Gwen died, and everybody's really upset about it. Yeah, let me tell you, this is real groundbreaking Spider-Man content right here. If you're gonna adapt the death of Gwen Stacy, you gotta do something a little more creative. This has literally been the whole movie so far. And I'm gonna spoil something for you guys. This is the only thing we're gonna get for the rest of the film. And then we get this very long and kind of strange scene of Peter watching iPhone footage of him and his friends. Again, if this was in the movie for like just a minute, it would be a lot better. But it keeps going.
Cool, they got a piñata.
Peter, it's for the kids.
Like hell it is. I'm the godfather of this event, and I want a debilitating wine and candy headache.
And then after that, we have another scene of, you guessed it, people being sad that Gwen Stacy is dead. I really don't have anything to say about this movie. Why am I reviewing it? This is a film that thinks it is the most profound, deep, emotional experience that we could ever see for Spider-Man on screen. When in actuality, it's the most shallow story you can tell. And a lot of young amateur creators are very bad at cutting things out of their projects. I get it. you really want to show that one scene, but you don't need to. So far, I am 40 minutes into the movie, and I've only seen one scene that I think was worth filming. Just because you can make a movie 2 hours long doesn't mean that you should. But then we get a fight scene with the Green Goblin, who looks kind of hilarious.
You are horrifying to look at.
Like, overall, I think the suit isn't that bad when it isn't moving. But when they make him talk, it looks truly hilarious.
Hababa. Hababa da gada.
And the thing is, again, I think this wouldn't be so bad if they showed us less of it. This is not a costume that should get an extended on-screen monologue. It should be shown to us like it was in the earlier scene. Stylize it, show it to us in a vague way, give us the impression of the Green Goblin, and we will get the idea. And also, he might be more imposing if we see less of him. Anyway, gotta go to another scene. And you know what that means.
Okay. This is just gonna be one. It's gotta just be one.
Cut! After that, we get another flashback. This one is particularly awful. Again, I don't really want to make fun of anybody's performances in this movie because they're kids. They're not professionals. For instance, while the girl playing Mary Jane isn't doing a very good job in this scene, she actually does really well in other scenes in the movie. I hope this shit-ass movie doesn't ruin her reputation because she really isn't that bad. And maybe with a better director, she could really show her stuff. But then apparently the boys making this movie said that the female talent were so bad that they had to salvage their performances. Yeah, man, you did a really great job. Oh yeah, let me tell you, these drawn out scenes with terrible lighting and shadows covering their faces the whole time, it's really good. You did a good job. Like, can I see the fucking characters? Why did you pick the most cluttered, shady-ass street in New York City? Anyway, after that, we get this weird, preachy scene where Flash Thompson talks about how much he loves Peter Parker.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I was always a little bit jealous of him. He was always somehow getting looks from Gwen, Liz, or you. I used to hate him. I think he hated me too. Back in high school.
Guaranteed.
But even after everything I did to him, you know, all the pranks, the humiliation, whatever, he was still a friend to me when I needed him to be.
Why is this in the movie?
My dad wasn't around much, and when he was around.
Why is this in the movie? So I think at this point, we're pretty far into the movie, and I can officially say that this movie's shit. I don't understand why your dream Spider-Man movie is just an adaptation of the death of Gwen Stacy. If I got $100,000 to make a Spider-Man movie, I would get fucking weird with it. I'd show things that haven't been shown before. Spider-Man is so rich with unique stories.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd do something ridiculous, like have him verse the Big Wheel or something. Or the Spot. Oh wait, never mind, they did that in the newest movie, so yeah, I'd do something else. Maybe have him, keep it hyper-focused with the budget. Do a short film, nothing at 2 hours. Have him have a one-on-one face-off with Kraven the Hunter. You know, I figure something out to work with that budget. Something to prove my prowess as a filmmaker. Problem is, though, is that the major Hollywood scene does not respect fan films in any way, period. They do not like them. They do not ever recognize them. They do not give them any props. Because I'm guessing the execs are pieces of shit that just care about IP and be more likely to sue you for making it than to give you any work.
story opportunities, and your dream movie is just one where he's sad that Gwen Stacy died? Again, the idea was to make a movie that is comic book accurate, that's true to the character of Spider-Man. But I think the hunger for comic book accuracy has blinded Gavin. Because yeah, the suit is comic accurate. It looks great. The events in the story are comic book accurate. But when you peel off all of this surface level shit, you are left with no flavor. Once the second half of the movie starts, we get our second plot line. And for a second, I thought maybe Gavin made some original concepts, but I was wrong. Instead, we are now adapting another Spider-Man story. The Kid Who Collects Spider-Man, another Spider-Man classic. He even said in the Indiegogo campaign that this movie was just going to be an adaptation of the two most popular Spider-Man stories. And people gave him $100,000.
What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, enjoy having your name in the credits for the N-word Spider-Man movie. Now, to give credit where it's due once more, I actually do like how this scene starts. Peter is clearly very shaken by the events in his life, but he wants to do this one nice thing for this kid. And I do like how awkward and uncomfortable he is just standing there in his costume. Like, the energy of this scene is actually very grounded and realistic.
I'm gonna get some coffee. Can I get you anything?
No, I'm okay.
Really, this is the only time while watching the movie where I can see a reason for the movie existing. I also like this moment where the sick kid asks Peter what happened in the fight with Green Goblin. This is the only scene that gets to the point in an efficient and effective manner. Wait, no. What's happening? Stop. Please, I was almost starting to like the movie. Stop showing me people being sad.
It's fine. Fuck! It's fine. Fuck! Fuck! It's fine. Fuck! It's fine. Fuck!
Oh, and when we finally do get back to the interesting scenes, Spider-Man begins to trauma dump to a dying child.
She's gone. Because of me. I can't do this.
Oh my god.
Look, I'm not the hero that you think I am. And
Now's not the time, dude. This would be like if I walked up to a terminally ill kid and is like, hey man, just to let you know, there's no God and there's no heaven.
all of this, it's not me.
All right, never mind. You ruined it.
But you're a hero. You saved all those people.
And how many others suffered because of it?
Why? This is what you get with fans, huh? Should've gave me the money.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up! So yeah, Spider-Man literally says that he can't do this anymore, and he leaves the dying, terminally ill child after throwing a fit. I can not even get into.
It's almost making me want to stop. Just...
They're much longer than you would expect.
Of course, this ain't my video, so I ain't gonna watch anymore.
Most of the time, they hide it inside of the back of their throat. How to Kiss Your Sangeli. Written and drawn by Italian.
But you're a hero. I'm not a hero, kid. Enjoy your death.
How wrong this is. We are beyond this movie just being boring. Now, it's starting to offend me. See, in the original comic, Peter does have a moment where he says to this little kid that maybe he shouldn't be looking up to him. But it's just a brief moment meant to show us Peter's ever-present self-doubt. Because this little Spider-Man short story is meant to show us just a tiny, bite-sized nugget of everything that makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. The purpose of this comic is to show us his backstory, teach us about what he can do, and finally, it's supposed to show us that even though he's really busy, and he has horrible work-life balance, he will still make time for someone who needs him. But in this version of the story, Peter feels more bad for himself than he does for the dying child. And also, the whole point of the story is ruined by showing us that the kid has cancer before Peter even meets him. When you're reading the original story, we don't know why Peter would ever spend all this time hanging out with some random kid, telling him all of his secrets and showing him his secret identity. Then we get to the final panel, and it all makes sense. Because that's how you tell a story. You have to lay...
It's actually kind of touching. No wonder why they wanted to adapt that. But then... then they fail. Oh my god, you should have just... And you don't... Yeah, you don't tell the people... right away. That reveal at the end is what makes it.
These elements out in a way that engages.
This just gives me so much confidence in my own writing right now. Like, wow, you know, this guy with 100 grand managed to trick a bunch of stupid people to give him a bunch of money to make a shitty Spider-Man film. Yep, I know I'm better than this.
Is your audience. If you wanted to be comic accurate so bad, you should have paid attention to why you even like this story. Anyway, it's time for more shitty CW drama.
I have you. And Peter. And we had Gwen.
So here's what's wrong with this shitty subplot. This subplot has been revolving around how MJ and Harry are adjusting to the deaths of Gwen and Harry's dad. But the thing is, you can't just show us this new version of these characters and expect us to automatically be invested in them. I have no reason to care about this version of Harry and MJ. I think that Gavin thought we'd see Mary Jane and think in our heads, oh, I like Mary Jane, so I'm automatically invested in the struggles of this Mary Jane. No, that's not how it fucking works. You haven't given me a reason to care. You didn't show me what kind of person she is. I don't know anything about her other than the fact that she's sad about Gwen fucking Stacy. Gwen Stacy, Gwen Stacy, wah wah. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm not kidding when I say this is the hardest review I've ever had to make. I don't have anything to talk about. I've had to just sit here the whole time bringing up the same problems because there's nothing in this movie. How do I review a movie that doesn't have anything in it? But thankfully, while I have my issues with the way this story was told, I do think the last moment with the sick child is a good way to end the movie. Peter finally drops his weird little hissy fit, and he accepts the fact that he is a superhero, that he helps people, and that there's a reason for him to be doing what he's doing.
At least.
The movie seems to be wrapping up now, and Peter seems to finally accept his role as Spider-Man.
It's not done yet, is it?
And he even seems to get closure on Gwen's death. For what it's worth, I can say that Peter Parker had a complete character arc. No. What's left to say?
I knew it. I knew it. That's great. Alright, I have video for this, but apparently not. San Kelly. Is there an autopsy video? That'd be cute. Too bad. I was hoping like an operating table. That would have been gruesome. How elites eat.
Worry about without you two trying to kill each other.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Alright, well, I gotta take off. I wanna enjoy some of this. I'm pretty much focused on this right now, so I'm pretty confident in getting a lot of this done before I gotta go. So, call it for now.
Drawn by Italian.
Ugh.